let me ask you about your partner. How did you know that this is the guy, individual that you can confide in, trust, and with your money and with your secrets and your everything else?
Yeah, I have, I'm biased, but I have the best business partner in the world. And I think we've built a partnership that took a lot of work. And 7 years later, still takes work, but we have reached the point that I think, anyone wants in a partnership where, we can kind of finish one another's sentences, to use a cliche, and where I know whether he and I are on the same page just instinctively. In fact, I even know when we're not on the same page, and I don't even need to talk to him because I know we're not on the same page on a certain issue. We have this.
What does that look like? Just curious. Because I always I love this story. I don't know, somebody was telling a story about where, hey, I want this guy brought Charlie Munger to a party and say, hey, I want you to meet this guy. He's kind of like you. And it was Warren Buffett. And then they sat and talked for not just the hour dinner party, but it was the next 6 hours. They talked about business and life and experiences. And Charlie is a conservative who votes Republican, and Warren Buffett is liberal who votes Democratic. So they're completely different political aisles, but their minds to come together to make 1 + 1 = 8.
Yeah. We broke a convention, which was we were really close friends prior to going into business together. And you hear often, don't do business with friends, right? And that's tested our relationship for sure. I think the best business partnerships, best marriages, the best partnerships in a business setting are born out of, really having this deep level of self-awareness, knowing thyself, a deep level of respect and appreciation for what you don't know and what that other partner brings to the table, and then trust over time. I heard some advice actually on a podcast a couple months ago that has kind of stuck with me, which is a recommendation on how you build a great partnership is try to make it a contest of who treats the other better, who showers the other better in, setting them up for success, or when there's a conversation on comp, who can be more gracious to one another. I don't think we practice that perfectly per se. I'm not going to sit here and say that's our idea and we do that well. But a great partnership takes work, and there's times when Adam and I are probably at each other's throats, but there's also times when, at the end of a really long week where we're exhausted and where it felt like everything went wrong, it's like, Adam, can we grab a beer? He's like, yeah, let's grab a beer. And in those moments where you have that camaraderie in the battle of building companies, it pays for itself infinitely fold. So it's an act of humility. It's an act in knowing yourself and respecting and honoring your other partner and trying to treat them really well. We are benefited by the fact that at Takata, we haven't raised outside capital. Essentially founding company 1, profits of that funded the acquisition of company 2, profits of 1 and 2 funded 3, 1 and 3 funded 4, and so on and so forth. And refusing outside capital has been a very deeply close value that Adam and I have held since day one. In part,
fix your scars from VC capital.
Exactly right. In part shaped by those scars from VC, which is I tend to prefer moving more slowly and intentionally, but being in control of our company's long-term destiny than the alternative. And we essentially flip the VC model on its head. And the reason I bring that up on the heels of talking about our partnership is it allows us to operate in a much more long-sighted way, hence the name Takata Group. It's a nod to decade, where the best companies plan and think in decades, not living from one financial quarter to the next. And what that means is sometimes, Adam and I slow down and say, you know what, let's slow this thing down and let's make sure that we're on the same page before we advance this idea. Or, we just have removed that pressure of speed because of that finite runway we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, where when that's off the table, it really lightens the load. Now, we're both driven individually, and so we're still quite driven. We're still, growing aggressively.
That's like releasing attachment. Like, hey, man, you're going to die anyway, so just take your time.
More of a dumb, but I think that's probably right.
I hope this video has inspired you. If you need help buying your first $1 million business, make sure to visit me at dealflowsystem.net. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe down below. Comment on it, share it, tell everyone about it. And thanks for watching.